What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Repilot, the reformation, if you will, of the Bip Skayless Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Hook, aka not Skip Bayless, and I'm joined by my compadres. On my left, wearing a tiger-shaped onesie, is Zach, aka Fuck.
I knew you didn't know.
I didn't get to it quick enough.
You had no idea.
I didn't get to it quick enough.
It's Carlos Beltran.
Okay, Zach,
This picture right here.
aka sign-stealing extraordinaire Carlos Beltran.
I just can't wait to rewrite the story of as the manager of the New York Mets. Wait, shit.
And on my right, wearing a leotard that looks like Carlos Beltran's left zipper, is Ham, aka once disemboweled by an ATV cowboy Donald Cerrone. Is it Cerrone? Cerrone.
Hey, Carlos, you should be grateful for the time you spent as manager of the Mets. Some things don't last that long.
And on my other further right, we have wearing full tracksuit, Jared, aka drink my proper 12 or get fucking punched.
Fucking pooch.
Conor McGregor.
Greatest fighter of all time. Bring me Khabib.
Oh, you're calling it already, Connie.
What the fuck are you on about?
We got some fun things to talk about today. We've been off for quite some time. We actually recorded another repilot about a week ago.
Guess what happened?
We lost the audio.
Who's we?
My computer lost the audio. So we're doing a repilot to get back to the swing of things. But to start, we've missed out on a lot of football. I'm leaving that in.
All of it.
The whole thing. We missed out.
We didn't
on literally
do any during the NFL season until the Super Bowl matchup was set.
They were like, all right, guys, preseason predictions.
Do you want to revisit?
Did we get it right?
Our preseason predictions.
The very
we don't
last,
really have time.
The very last episode we aired, we were teasing our fantasy draft right before this season
and
started.
lamenting that Andrew Luck had retired.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Quick recap of our fantasy draft. None of us were any good.
My boss won, and it's still not okay. But shout out to Scotty Wags if you're listening to this.
He's not.
He might.
He's a ZZ Top fan. He's
Oh,
that was last week. Oh, come on.
He won. Scott won despite in week 6 trading Lamar Jackson for Robert Woods.
Yep.
And he still won.
Yep. So let's hop on this bandwagon while we still can. Playoffs, football. The Super Bowl is set as of this recording, literally like 20 minutes ago.
Well, kind of longer than that. But
Yeah.
That game had been over before 20 minutes ago.
The San Francisco 49ers are going to be playing the Tennessee, no, JK. The Baltimore, no, JK.
No.
The Kansas City Chiefs. We got Jimmy G versus Patty Mahomes. What are we feeling?
The Super Bowl returns to Miami for the first time since the Colts won it there in 2006. Unfortunately, the Colts were not able to piece together.
Didn't it also go
A
back
return
during
trip?
the Saints Super Bowl?
It wasn't in my... Which one? The one where they beat us?
Yeah, where the Saints beat us?
No. That
'Cause
one
I thought there was a whole thing about how like they're playing again in Miami.
Was it really? I didn't think it was. Maybe it was.
We don't do research. We don't know.
We have no idea. Anyways, it's in Miami. I know that it's in Miami this year.
So everybody gets a free bag of cocaine.
It's under everyone's chair at the end of the game.
Now. Do the cocaine.
You don't just get to take it home. You have,
You have to do it
right now.
then, right there.
It's gonna be a
They'll
good
be
game
irresponsible if they let the cocaine leave the stadium. They have to keep all the cocaine in one centralized
The cocaine
location.
is geotagged to the stadium. It cannot leave, or the dye packs will activate.
Say there are dye packs in it. You walk out of the stadium just like, oh man.
Look at that asshole. He tried to leave with his free blow.
What an idiot. This becomes a staple of Miami sports from then on. So everybody gets free cocaine at the game. That's how they drive attendance.
Yeah, because no one else wants to go to a Dolphins
Security is done by cartels.
I predict. I'll try to rein it back in. I predict the Chiefs to win. Mahomes is MVP. Special shout out to Tyrann Matthew. Going to have a great game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say special shout out to State Farm.
Honey Badger don't
because it's
Honey
going to be the
Badger is going to
return
play a pivotal role
of the Super Bowl champion to its rightful owner, State Farm.
State Farm.
State Farm.
We missed out on a chance to have a rematch of Super Bowl I and the first ever State Farm Super Bowl.
Yep.
With Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes facing off.
Then the discount double check would have won no matter what.
Oh, man.
Instead, Raheem Mostert trampled Green Bay. And now we get to see if this 49ers defense can do what no one's been able to do so far and get pressure on Mahomes without blitzing.
Yeah.
Because that's the key. If they can get pressure without sending extra men.
Or you break his knee or ankle.
I guess
which
that
is the only other ways that he lost.
Okay, Sean Payton. We're over that.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that that's a legit strategy to take that's legal.
Yeah.
I just said that it is one. So you could also have another strategy where you go to his house and break his ankle there.
That is true.
That's a legit strategy, just not one you should take.
No. Or you pay someone else to do it. That's the
way you do it.
You pay them
yeah,
with
there
cocaine.
we go. All right.
Yeah.
But you can't take it from the state.
Nancy Kerrigan.
It seems like the feel-good side of this is going to be the Chiefs and Andy Reid maybe finally getting over the hump in Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
But it feels like the Niners' defense is going to be too much. It looks like it's going to be too much.
Doesn't feel that way to me.
You don't think so?
Are you kidding?
No.
But Patrick Mahomes has scored 83 points, 85 points in 2 playoff games against defenses that weren't bad.
Wait, no, I think the real question is how many points are going to be scored in the first quarter, and how many of them are actually going to be scored by Patrick Mahomes, or just the Chiefs?
The Chiefs
because
have been slow starting, and the Niners have
do not
been.
score.
Exactly. So
They
I wonder
do
how
not
that'll
score.
play out.
Right. Do you want my breakdown? I'll tell you
Yeah,
what's going to
what do
happen.
you think is going to happen?
End of the first quarter, it will be Niners 14, Chiefs 10.
Okay.
For the third game in a row after trailing early, the Chiefs will go into halftime with a lead. It will be 17-14.
Okay.
Final score of the game, 58... No.
72!
In the second half, Patrick Mahomes will throw for 3 touchdowns. He'll also throw a pick, but Garoppolo will throw no touchdowns and he'll lose 2 fumbles. That's the story.
It's
of your
very
game.
specific.
And Raheem Mostert is going to have
Raheem Mostert will rush for 85 yards, but 2
touchdowns.
scores.
58 touchdowns.
Both first half touchdowns will be rushing touchdowns by Raheem Mostert.
Okay. Austin?
I'm trying to look up what the current over-under for the Super Bowl is right now. It is at 52.5 points currently.
The Niners will score...
Take the over on that.
Yeah.
The Niners will score 3 touchdowns. 2 Raheem Mostert rushes, and Emmanuel Sanders will throw 1.
Yeah? Ooh, I like it. I like the bold.
Let's make a friendly wager on this.
Okay.
I've just been remarkably specific. No.
Not on that. No, not on that. Not on that. I think Mahomes gets put down
Like
over by the vets.
Somebody's thinking about that.
Yeah.
that's
got
a,
the rabies?
The cartel. The cartels are going to come in.
that is
take
a
it right
hot
out.
Took
take.
the cocaine out of the stadium. Why did you take the cocaine out of the stadium?
Look at his pants. The dye pack went off.
Miami will accidentally hire the horse racing doctor, and they'll be like, his leg is broken. We have to kill him here on the field.
He recovered from the ankle injury so quick, though.
Jared, you took our hope and
done.
hits hot takes to a whole new
I
level.
meant sacked, not
He will get
euthanized.
sacked. Mahomes will get sacked how many times?
I think more than 4.
More than 4.
Over 4.5.
Over 4 and
Let's
a
make
half.
a friendly
How many
wager.
does Bosa get?
I don't care who gets him. I think that
Okay.
that front
2.
4 is outstanding.
Oh, I'm going over.
You're going over
going
on
over.
4 and a half?
And I will
Yes.
drink some.
Some
schnapps, is that what it was?
A half pint.
So,
a
I'm not
half,
drinking
so
half.
what are you saying over as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Over 4.5.
a half
He's
pint
setting the line.
of-
Not even 4. I'm going 4.5.
Right,
5 times he goes
5.
down.
Yeah.
I'll go over with
And not
you.
a half pint. Hell no. That's too much for anyone.
A shot?
It's not too much for anyone.
Too much.
We each drank one during
During the broadcast?
the Andrew Luck episode.
That was
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
We were in mourning.
No,
I could see that over happening. That was funny.
You don't want it?
That was funny. No, I said we were in morning, and he said no, it was at night.
Boo.
It's gonna be a great game.
I can see for the purposes of I've already lost all the half pint bets I've made on this show, so I'll take the under.
Yeah, I'll take the under too.
I'll take the under.
Are you on this too?
I told you I'm going over.
They're both
Race
going
war.
For those who didn't know,
In this auditory only podcast, the two ethnics picked to the over.
I'll have you know, I am 1/16 Latino.
Cherokee Indian.
No, I just said Latino.
I am 1/16
specific.
Carlos
what's the
Beltran.
DNA site? What's the DNA site? What do you check here? 23andMe. It's gonna be a great game, by the way, for like the stars and the sidelines. Miami, Rick Ross probably be there. Trick Daddy probably be there. Who else is gonna be there? Pitbull will definitely be there somewhere.
Flo Rida.
And because it's a major sporting event, Drake. I don't know who we'll be rooting for.
It's a major American sporting event. Drake has to be there.
But
why? I don't know.
But because it's the Chiefs,
American-
Eric Stone Street, Paul Rudd's gonna be there. Chiefs diehards, so they'll be that brand of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's gonna be there with his son, and he's gonna show him the locker room again. His son's gonna see everybody's penis.
And Rob,
If anybody
and
didn't
Rob
know, that's
Lowe,
really a thing that
Rob
happened.
Lowe will be there to cheer on the NFL. Did anyone see that today?
No.
Rob Lowe was at the game wearing all black, logoless black, and a black NFL hat. That was it.
It was like as close as you could get to a ref, but they took the white part off. They were just like, have him out there, NFL hat. He's not.
Like
he's
he
not
looked like he
neither
was
team. He doesn't want
monitoring the
neither
field for concussions. Like he was gonna radio in and be like, "That guy can't go." But
Number
Rob
42.
Lowe.
I need you to look at number 42.
So how about we take the Super Bowl to debut our newest thing that we're going to be doing in our live stream live viewings. What do you guys say about that?
Meaning February 2nd.
February 2nd, we will be live viewing the Super Bowl. You guys can hang out with us, listen to us, tweet us, comment, talk with us, tell us stupid things. You can have us bet drinks on things. We'll do some live in-game bets on like next play is a run, next play is a pass if you want something like that.
We can exchange dip recipes.
We
Listen,
can, like
chicken recipes.
Okay. I was like dip, like
Recipe.
like
You got
recipes for that
This
shit.
is how you smoke
like-
tobacco in order to get it a nice wintergreen
I like
flavor.
2% Cuban tobacco.
2% Cuban.
I like 98%.
2% Carlos
Louisiana.
Beltran tobacco.
New Carlos Beltran tobacco. But when
So-
you feel like hitting, like you can already see it coming.
So before we move on to our next topic, let's set it up.
That needs to be a segment. I'm sorry.
We could do the live streams. In fact, I would encourage anyone that wants to listen to it to put us over the actual broadcast because it's going to be Joe fucking Buck. So you can listen to something a lot more entertaining. I will bet right now that coin's going tails.
Ooh.
Tails never fails.
Oh. I like tails though.
I always
I gotta.
take tails.
I'll take heads.
All right.
I'll take heads.
We're setting up our
yeah.
first bet. You can
isolate the Latin guy.
the 1/16.
See how it is.
Who's doing the anthem? Another popular bet is how long that goes.
Fergie. No.
Oh God!
She just sings London Bridges instead.
I will take that than watching her sing the anthem one more time. Oh, that was awful. Was that the All-Star game?
That was the All-Star game.
That's one of the worst
man.
of all time for sure. It was not like super sexy. It was like
Yeah,
It was just very like
It was
jazzy,
not
and yeah.
I just remember them cutting to the players who were trying not to laugh.
play some
They were
basketball.
like, "Oh no, we're all hearing this, right? Nobody say anything. Nobody, quit looking at me. They got the camera right on my face. Stop."
So last things about football before we move on to our next topic. Who are we taking in the Super Bowl? Set it up right here, right now. Zach, start us off.
Yeah, State Farm.
All right, going the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Ham.
I thought I was pretty clear about what's going to happen.
No,
Maybe
we
you had to change the part the last 2.5 minutes.
No, we just got
Kansas City's going to win.
All right, Jared.
I want them to win. I want Andy Reid to get this done for his legacy, but I just don't see them escaping that pass rush. 49ers
We
win.
did it again. I'm going 49ers. We split the races.
All right. Well,
Listen,
I'm
Andy
off
Reid's
by
been to a
myself.
Super Bowl before, but he's never been to a Super Bowl where the winner gets to go to the White House to have a fast food buffet. He is more motivated now than he's ever been.
We should be guessing what food is served. What was it last time?
Over under on
Was it just McDonald's last
Picturing
time?
him just like, oh, think of all the Wendy's. Oh,
What was the food
Wendy's.
at the LSU visit?
Well, it was Clemson, because it was last year's, right? Has
Oh,
LSU been
I
yet?
thought
Oh,
LSU
yeah, they-
hasn't been yet.
No, they
they-
did, because they
did they?
put that dance video out. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was there.
Yeah, but that's a nice segue into our next topic.
You remember how that was going to be our last thing about football, and then our next topic is
Well, no. So that was our last thing about NFL football. Our next topic that we're going to lead into is the college football playoffs. We can talk about the whole
All
playoff.
right, predictions, guys. Who do you think's gonna win?
Ohio State. I'm still.
I got Oklahoma.
Yeah. I gotta go Alabama.
So
You know, they're always
that-
strong every single year.
Boomers soon.
that first round was first game was pretty rough. Joe Burrow. My favorite stat that came out of that was Joe Burrow had thrown more touchdown passes inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium
Than Matt Ryan.
than Matt Ryan did this entire year, which is a true statement.
In the first half of that game, Joe Burrow.
Jer Bear. As the cool kids call
Joe
it.
Burrow threw as many touchdown passes in the first half as Jimmy Garoppolo threw passes tonight. Not touchdowns.
Wow.
Passes. Number of times he threw the ball.
Yeah.
And
And Burrow threw that many touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed. I know that we stopped talking about NFL football, but we just brought it up again. The 49ers just took the Titans playbook and they were like, let's do that. Let's just keep running.
Just
Let's
run
just
it forever.
stop doing anything else besides just run.
But
We
yeah,
don't have
I mean,
Derrick Henry, but let's go.
Yeah.
LSU dominated
Yeah. The whole playoff.
the whole year.
Yeah.
Like, nobody seemed close at any point.
I was upset. I wanted my Buckeyes to beat Clemson. I thought they were gonna do it, and then Justin Fields threw to the wrong person. And,
was tough.
Yeah,
It was tough.
I
He's
think
got another year.
Yeah, I think it was just
he and Trevor
I think-
Lawrence will be
but I
back.
think what happened was it was like an option play. The wide receiver saw one thing. Justin
Yeah,
Fields
he
saw
thought he was going to
another
run a
thing.
different route.
Yeah, and I being Ohio State fan, you hate to see it end like that because it's just so. But
I'm a Purdue fan. I'm used to it ending that way. Hey, Ham, what does Joe Burrow look like?
All right, you're going to call me out for something we talked about before.
I
it's like a
agree with
frat
you.
boy.
I admitted before we hit record that any moderately well-built, sandy blonde-haired white guy could convince me he was Joe Burrow.
If you put Jared Goff and Joe Burrow in the same lineup, could you tell who is who?
I would think they were the Chainsmokers. I would not know the difference.
So I guess that wraps up our college national championship talk. There's really not much to talk about there other than
I also did hear
LSU.
that
Huge
Joe Burrow
nomination.
is going to headline Coachella.
Wouldn't
I'm all for
surprise me.
But okay, so you got more?
Yeah, I mean, the big news since the playoff ended was Travis Etienne is coming back to Clemson. He's not going to the draft. Tua is declaring that's not a surprise.
Yep.
You know, draft-wise, anything else stand out to anybody?
I've got 6 picks in my dynasty draft. Yes,
Yeah.
6 of 8. So
6 of 8?
6.
Wow.
Been working for this for a long time. So
So wait,
big news.
Explain
This
to
better be a good draft.
explain to our possible viewers that have no clue what you're talking about. Not me, just them.
A
Obviously, we
dynasty
know.
fantasy league is
You
a league.
keep everyone-
No, you don't have to. You
Okay.
can choose to keep the players you want.
This is actually pretty special. It's like mirrored the NFL, so there's contracts. You play all year long. You're like the GM. So
Okay.
there's
I like
8 of us,
that.
and I have 6 first-round picks.
Oh, so you get
You have
to
6 first round.
6 first-round picks.
Good Lord.
Suck it, guys.
How'd you make?
Have you won a game in this league
I
for the
won.
past couple
So
seasons?
this just was year 4 that finished up.
So can you trade draft picks?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
I was the 2018 champion.
Nice.
But I've just been like dealing future picks and players here and there. So I have 6 first-round picks in this draft. I didn't know ETN was staying in college, so you just said it. Pretty excited about it, though.
That's
So Sunshine would be the quarterback of your future. That's who you want.
he can't go yet.
Yeah.
That's who you want.
I mean, that would be nice.
You can get
but
Joe Burrow.
Burrow's would be
Yeah,
there.
you can
Is
get
J.K. Dobbins coming out?
I don't know.
You get Joe Burrow and Chase.
Jonathan
No.
Taylor's coming out?
Do you draft defensive
No
players?
defense.
No defense.
No IDPs.
Just offense. So
I think Dobbins announced
With how
he
much
was
time you're
leaving.
putting to that, I'm surprised that there are no IDPs.
there used to be. We got rid of them.
What's an IDP?
Independent
players?
placement.
It's a
Oh,
league
okay.
word.
Well,
Yeah,
that does
Dobbins
lead
announced
into
he
sort
was
of our next talk about is the upcoming NFL draft, and what we could talk about who we think is going to be gone 3rd overall, because I think there's a consensus on 1 and 2
Burrow, Chase Young.
being Burrow.
Who
and
has
Chase
the 3rd
Young.
pick?
That's a good question.
Detroit, I think.
Let us see. The Lions have the 3rd pick, Giants have the 4th, and Dolphins have the 5th.
Obviously, going 3rd, chain smokers.
So I think I've heard a lot about Jeff Okudah, the corner from Ohio State.
Kuda Matata.
Yeah,
It
going
means no worries.
Going at 3 to Detroit, and if not, then maybe the Giants taking him at 4. I could see the Giants taking the best tackle available. You know, they want to make sure to protect their quarterback of the future, Daniel Jones, who I owe an apology to. And then, unless they trade out of it for some reason, you gotta think Miami goes Tua at 5, right?
Yeah. You don't think they're gonna... What did you...
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
What's going on?
It's all him.
Zach is playing with his food. Anyway, you don't think the Dolphins are gonna hand the keys to Fitzmagic?
No. What? No. Why
You don't
would
think
you
so?
do that?
It's
Look,
just something to talk about. Let's...
I do wonder how closely on the big boards Justin Herbert is to Tua.
Yeah.
On talent, he's got to be pretty far behind. But he doesn't have an injury history the way that Tua does. Tua hasn't played a full season since he was a high schooler.
Right.
So, I mean, it depends on when Tua goes. I think Tua goes before Herbert. But if Miami takes him at 5, I think the next quarterback-needy team moves Herbert up their draft board. But I could see Miami trading out of that spot and maybe saying,
They're going to take Phillip Rivers.
try and get Fitzpatrick for another season, or see if they can get a journeyman quarterback and wait it out, see if they can get a shot at somebody next year when Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are going to be in the
Phillip
draft.
Rivers sold his house in San Diego.
But he hasn't played in San Diego in 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to Miami. He's going to do
Tom
the
Brady
cocaine.
sold his house in Gillette.
But him in Gillette, he
Gillette.
lived in Gillette.
And,
Kind of like Baker Mayfield.
If
being
Fox
found at
Foxborough,
the, Browns.
When it was Tom Brady, I would believe it.
Phillips selling his house in San Diego doesn't mean anything because he hasn't lived in the city where he's been playing for the past 2 years anyway. So that's not.
If you told me that Tom Brady lived in a treehouse in Bill Belichick's yard, I would believe it.
Fair enough. Yeah, that one I believe. But yeah, Brady did put his house up in New England. I'm assuming it's Massachusetts.
Everybody's
Is it in
hoping for
Boston?
that Miami job
Yeah.
because then they don't have to do anything for a season. They throw the ball, they get sacked a few times, they collect a check.
Yeah.
It's the Ryan Fitzpatrick way.
Well, the rest, it's going to be an interesting draft. I don't know too many of the prospects, honestly.
Mike, Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb are players to watch.
Yeah.
Top 2 receivers in this draft. There's a decent chance CeeDee Lamb is sitting there for the Colts at 13. Do you take a receiver if Tua and Herbert are both gone, as they might be? You know, because there are rumors we like Bryce Love. I don't really like Bryce Love.
I would have wished we took DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
I wanted him. Even over the Ohio State love of Paris Campbell. DK was available.
The book on DK Metcalf was he could only run one route.
Yeah.
And he's shown he can do a little more than that. He can run 3. But he can run
hot routes.
he can run 2 of them pretty darn good. And that at this point in his career, that's all I need to know how to do. He looked real good, but he wasn't even the A.J. Brown was there, and he was
Hollywood
easily
Brown.
He was no, not not Hollywood Brown. He was A.J. Brown for the Titans.
Yeah. Isn't that not his nickname?
No, Hollywood Brown is Marquise Brown on the Ravens.
Oh.
People seem down on the receivers in this draft. It just took a little while. Like A.J. Brown came along.
Oh, on this most recent draft. I was about to say, this upcoming draft, the receiving class is super
T.
stacked.
Higgins in there too. But yeah, the last draft, like, Hollywood is there. Debo Samuel came along late in the year. A.J. Brown late in the year. Metcalf late in the year. I mean, they really kind of made their mark, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean...
but they weren't helpful for the first half of fantasy, and that's all I cared about.
Well, there was the dude in Washington.
Scary Terry.
Yeah, it was great. And then I picked him up, and then he sucked.
Last year's receiving class was very good, and the Colts took Paris Campbell.
Yeah. Which, still...
I trust our GM.
Progress. I was excited for when we took Deion Kane, and he made a couple of big plays this season. That was just for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And not us.
I don't blame him for that.
No.
I mean, I still think that our draft picks have panned out for us a lot better in the past couple of years.
The Grigson era?
Yes. So I'm always comfortable with whatever ends up happening, even if we might miss out on one or two players. It feels like the majority of our draft has always been so good that I'm fine with whatever.
And I won't complain if we go depth on the defensive line, or if we go secondary, or even offensive line. We're going to need a left tackle here eventually.
Yeah.
Costanzo said he's considering retirement. You don't know how many years at an elite level he's got left playing anyways, so that's something you have to consider.
I feel like every time that you see a lineman that's had a career as long as him, you just start seeing more and more metal added to his body as he keeps playing, and you're like, okay, he's too much metal now. We gotta get him out.
Fun fact, I read this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So proud.
He J-read it.
I J-read this.
did it!
The Colts were, where they ranked in terms of offensive lines throughout the year.
But who's rating it?
Pro Football Focus?
Yeah.
Number one.
Number one.
No.
They were top 10, weren't they?
Yes.
Top 5?
Yes.
Top 3?
Yes.
2.
Top 2?
No.
3. Who were rated above us?
I don't remember. I didn't read it. I didn't retain
Give
all
me
that.
the names.
I read an article,
I'll
but not...
show up at the
I read an article,
right
but not
now.
the whole article.
One was surprising and one was not, but I couldn't tell you who they were right now.
That is the strongest part of our team, and it is not close. And it's done a 180. 2 years ago, if you had told me that going into the 2020 NFL Draft, the strengths of the Indianapolis Colts were going to be offensive line and our linebacking core, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
Those are the two deepest, most talented, best performing position groups that we have. And I will add a caveat that I don't necessarily blame the receiving core because none of them could get healthy.
Yeah, it was rough. But speaking of...
And that we have capable running backs. That's the other thing.
Yes.
That was the other thing you told me a couple years ago.
Do we have very talented, capable running backs? Or do we have an offensive line that makes mediocre running backs look talented? Which is my way of saying I don't think we should give Marlon Mack a big contract.
Yeah. We should do our Madden strategy.
The Belichick. Do not pay running backs.
Yeah.
Don't. There are 30 NFL caliber kids coming out of college right now who I feel can put Marlon Mack numbers up behind our offensive line.
I can think of several guys who got paid and didn't pan out, but who's the last guy that got paid that worked out really well? I'm thinking Le'Veon didn't work out.
Adrian Peterson?
David Johnson doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, who got that?
Who's the last guy that got a bunch of money and you were like, yeah.
It's too early on.
Even 2 seasons worth of good production.
I'll say it's too early on Ezekiel Elliott.
I feel like anybody that's had
Just
that kind of production has been somebody that ends up being a backup for somebody and then ends up getting paid because somebody got hurt, they put up good numbers, and then they end up getting a good contract.
Like
It's
Zeke
never
hasn't
somebody
had
straight out of their rookie seasons.
I guess Zeke hasn't had bad numbers. He just hasn't had elite numbers all the time for how much you pay him.
This was his first year?
But second. His floor has been higher than Todd Gurley, who seems to disappear for periods
Another
of
one,
time.
yeah.
Right.
He's not right, though.
Something's wrong with him. But so going back, when's the last big-time running back like that got... is it Adrian Peterson? Who else is it?
I mean, Derrick Henry, is he...
He hasn't been paid yet. He's a free agent going into this offseason. So is Ryan Tannehill.
I forget how young Derrick Henry is.
Yeah, outrageous.
We can move on into our
our
next and final segment of the evening, and it's the first segment that we have of this kind of this ilk, and I'll be going to Zach and our newest segment of Zach Read a Reddit.
Steal the music.
We'll find a jingle. We'll find a jingle for Zach Read a Reddit. That'll lead us into our next topic of the baseball sign stealing scandal. Ooh, I like the alliteration there.
Sign stealing scandal.
Sign stealing scandal.
That's not what the article was
Wait,
about. It was a different article.
You found a
I don't
new
know
article?
why I didn't see the article. He did. I mean,
I showed you the article.
I like that he's
something
surprised.
completely different.
and he introed with sign stealing scandal.
I do like the alliteration, but that's not what it is. This is about.
Can you find a new one?
Can you
about
get
sign
alliteration for this?
Okay. No.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, you got
He's
one?
got one.
Alumni ass assault leads to arrest warrant.
All right. That is what happened. Odell Beckham Jr., famous LSU alum, was caught on camera smacking a security guard's butt, just smacking a butt, and there's been a warrant issued for his arrest for assault.
Which is
It's for simple battery.
Is
right?
it for simple battery? Okay.
And the Louisiana DA has announced they're not actually going to pursue the charges, which probably means Odell paid a fine.
Yeah, more than likely.
I watched the video. It looked from all things, and it was a uniformed police officer. It wasn't just a glorified security guard.
Yeah. I mean, most of the security running that at that point.
They are cops.
Yeah.
What it looked like was happening was a couple of the LSU players were getting ready to smoke cigars.
Yeah.
And the officer was, I don't know if he was cautioning them against that. Harassing them is a term I've seen thrown around, but basically talking to them about how, I don't know, maybe they're not old enough or they shouldn't do it in the locker room or whatever.
I think it's like a city ordinance thing.
Yeah.
You can't smoke
maybe
indoors
that
or
is.
something like that.
Which, fine. And Odell decided that at that moment he needed to approach this officer from behind and give him some grab ass.
Give him
And
give him a grab
grab
ass. Is that a Key and Peele reference?
I like it. The skit is slap ass.
Slap ass.
But
I like yours better.
But I actually bounced around a couple ideas with some people about this, and one of them said that they thought Odell was heroically distracting the guard from harassing those players.
Yeah.
To which I responded, I would love for that to be what happened if I had any cause ever to think Odell Beckham Jr. capable of measured, planned action. I have not seen him do anything that looked like it required forethought, so I don't think that's what happened.
I think he just saw butt and went, butt!
And this is almost immediately after him being on field and handing college players wads of cash.
Wads of cash.
Which the LSU staff and all of the players who are returning said were fake novelty bills.
Joe Burrow,
who has nothing left to lose,
he was like, nah, that shit was real.
went on Barstool and went, it was real cash.
Was he even asked about it or just volunteered?
I think he was asked.
Joe, how's it feel? Real cash.
Real cash or real.
How do you feel about maybe playing for Cincinnati?
Real
Odell
cash.
gave me real money.
I don't think you understand this cash money.
Odell also, if you guys didn't see, hijacked the, I think it was the marching band with the megaphone.
And just...
Can you imagine if Odell Beckham hung out with Conor McGregor? Like, what kind of shenanigans they would get in? That's a Saturday morning cartoon show if I've ever seen one.
Do you know what it reminded me of, though? Do you remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Kevin Hart got drunk and tried to get up on the float at the end?
Yeah.
And was, like, on the field being a general nuisance. But it was funny because he wasn't smacking people on the butt or anything.
Yeah.
And also, he's Kevin Hart, and there's something about...
Well, you can pick him up and set him someplace
That's-
else if he's hanging up.
when it's tiny. Yeah,
No,
like...
Kevin.
Like and Odell seems to think that he was that same level of endearing.
Yeah.
And no, like you already have the reputation as kind of an emotional guy.
Yeah.
maybe slapping cops on the butt is not what you should be doing.
No.
You couldn't even hit a defenseless kicking net, and you tried to hit an officer of the law. Like, I don't hate Odell Beckham Jr. in any sense of the word. I don't want this to come off like I dislike him. But I do, excuse me.
He doesn't warrant the benefit of the doubt.
I do disapprove of his actions here.
I dislike his fantasy performance this year.
It would be nice. It would be nice if if you got like jammed up or in a bind somewhere. You said he was like distracting the cop from the kids. Like that could be like something you'd could call upon.
Yeah, he was like, I make millions of dollars.
Your car's declined at the grocery store. Like, oh shit! You call Dale, stop some ass. You get out of it. You get pulled over.
Right.
Ticket.
Oh, no. Oh man, I just got pulled over. The cop's over here. I think he's gonna give me a speeding ticket. Can you stop by? I got you, fam. Pulls up. Hey, officer.
Slap it.
What the hell's going on here?
Rather than brakes, he leans out the passenger side and smacks him on the butt as he goes by.
The cop's like, "Well, he touched my butt. You're free to go. You're free." No, that's the Odell Beckham rule.
Yeah. He supersedes anything that we're doing before he showed up.
You've heard of the Calvin Johnson rule. That's football. Odell Beckham rule. That's legal.
It's a little known bylaw in the New Orleans City Council building.
Yeah. He's allowed to slap ass anybody he wants.
If Odell Beckham Jr. slaps your butt, you have to stop arresting whoever you were arresting.
They have training videos about it.
So since I brought it up, I'm gonna turn the floor over back to Zach to give us, since the three of us don't really, Jared probably more than both Hamilton and I, don't really pay attention to baseball. You recently,
I watch baseball all the time.
I know. That's why I said more than both of us.
I listen real well too.
You go on an escapade to try to see every baseball series.
Yeah.
Right?
So my friend, shout out Travis Peters, Ball State University.
Chirp.
We go on a road trip every summer. So the first summer we drove it. We went to Cleveland, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and
the horse track.
Cleveland, Detroit, Pittsburgh,
Cincinnati?
No. Damn it. Cleveland, Detroit. Was that it? It might have been.
I don't know.
You weren't there.
Can you tell me
Travis
what I've done?
Damn
What have I done
Travis
in my
Peters. The second year, last year, we flew and did Chicago.
You flew to Chicago from
flew
Indianapolis?
We flew to Chicago from Chicago.
I flew to Chicago from Indianapolis because I don't own a map.
We flew to Minnesota and then did Chicago, and then Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And then this next year is the granddaddy of them all. We're doing, I'm going to get this wrong. Sorry, Travis. San Diego, Anaheim, Dodgers, Oakland, and Seattle.
Ooh. Did you know that San Diego means a whale's vagina?
You know full and well that scholars maintain that translation has been lost for centuries.
Full and well.
So you two then are foremost baseball insiders.
I pay attention to one team.
Give us how you...
The Reds. That's it. And I don't pay that much attention.
Give us how you feel about the recent sign stealing scam.
I do have an opinion on this. Jared, do you want to go first? I can go first. I don't care.
Me?
I don't care. That's why I was asking.
I am a new school baseball fan, so to me, it just seems pretty cut and dry. It's wrong, and they got caught. But I watched people who are of the older school, like Jessica Mendoza was talking about it, and she was like, "Well, you were in that clubhouse, Mike Fiers, how you say his last name? Fiers. You won that World Series, and then you tell after the fact, you went to the media, and they don't like that. But I mean, to me, if it was any other sport, I feel like the majority of thoughts would be for what happened. This should be disciplined in the way it was. But baseball is so stuck in the past a lot of times. I feel like it's more split on the thoughts of what he did.
All right. So here's how I feel about it. Essentially, if you don't know what the controversy is, the Astros and the Red Sox have both been accused of sign stealing. But using essentially cameras in the outfield in order to be able to see the signs, being able to relay that back to the dugout, and the two big things are one of them is that they were banging on trash cans. There's video evidence of this that are giving out the signs normally for. I would say probably off speed. Yeah, like somebody's saying breaking ball or they're saying fastball. Now, you can also see in that video that once the pitcher hears that there's banging going on, and he connects it in his head. He goes, they have a meeting, and immediately they change signs, because that's what you do in baseball. Like, I'm a very old school fan. I'm an NL Central diehard. I love the National League. Fuck the DH. But this has been a part of the game. Now, this is where I break from it, and this is why I think there are punishments that need to be necessary. It's the electronic component. All right, it is Altuve apparently, allegedly having an electronic buzzer on him, because if you can see or hear somebody trying to steal your signs, this has been a part of the game for years. It's something that's been known. They're always going to be stealing your signs. That's the way this operates. If you have somebody standing on second, they can see the signs. This is how this has worked in baseball for years. Pitchers and catchers, your batter, you know that you have to continually change up your signs throughout the game.
Formations in football, right?
Yeah.
If you do the same thing every time you come out and yell Omaha,
yeah, exactly.
defenses will adjust.
Exactly. That's the aspect that I think is totally a part of the game. Bang on a trash can if you want, but it's up to the pitcher and the catcher to notice that that's going on. Electronic buzzers, that's where it really comes into play, where you're really taking that aspect out, and suddenly you're in the pitcher's head because he has no way of knowing that you know that an off-speed is coming. It's an electronic thing. It's hidden completely visually. You can't see any signs being given. That's where I think that it's unfair, and that's where I think that you need to have punishments. But just having a camera out there, just having people relaying that kind of information, just trying to steal signs, that's normal baseball.
So I have a problem with the camera.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
If it's the players on the field, if it's the second baseman, and he's somehow communicating to the kid, if there's a runner on second, he can somehow communicate, whatever. If the players on the field or in the dugout are somehow decoding signs, fine. As soon as you are aiding them with technology, like a buzzer, which, to be clear, the MLB's report has categorically denied happened.
Right.
In my opinion, the camera out in the outfield filming the catcher, I think that's not okay. It's providing, even if everyone's doing it,
But here's the thing. If you look up their batting percentages, home and away, where this was supposedly happening during home games, their batting percentage was worse at home games. They batted better away. This is both teams. This is both the Red Sox and the Astros.
Yeah.
So apparently, this crazy advantage that they were getting by sign stealing using cameras wasn't giving them an advantage.
Right, because
we were just mad. People are mad because of that Yankees game, because of Altuve's walk-off. People are pissed because they think that he knew that pitch was coming, and that's why it went yard. That's why there's a big stink. That's the only reason people are being punished.
But don't you think if they did nothing right now, like this would just go bigger and bigger? Like something needs to be done to at least
It's still going to be done. It's baseball. That's what you do in baseball. It's constantly trying to find something.
Do it, right.
Yeah, it's just like in football, how every year there ends up being another team that ends up getting caught watching another.
That's why I was gonna. God, you're beating me to my joke.
Recording sidelines.
The reason that the Astros and Red Sox had to do this at home was because it would be inconceivable to sneak a camera into another team's venue and set it up.
Right.
There's no way you'd pull that off.
Did you see the video of that Bengals employee being questioned?
Well, it was the Patriots employee. The Bengals were questioned.
Yeah,
he got caught filming. I was just being like, I could delete this right now.
I didn't know this was here. This seems like nothing. Like, oopsie.
Yeah, exactly.
But as technology goes on, there's not going to be a way to stop it, and it is something that is available. Like, I don't think that there should be punishments because of the camera. I think that if you make it less obvious, then there needs to be something done. But overall, just as a pitcher and a catcher, you have to be able to know that this is coming and be able to adjust your signs accordingly.
I understand what you're saying, and I get the old school view. It just seems like baseball is so slow to adapt in everything they do, and this seems like more.
I mean, the last people to do
everything
replay challenges. And the replay system still, I think, is a little bit off, even though baseball is supposedly one of the best officiated sports if you're not counting balls and strikes.
Everyone to know.
That's kind of the most important, the most crucial.
I've been over here stretching.
Yeah, in these past 3 minutes, Hamilton has put on a seatbelt, stretched his shoulders, cracked his knuckles. My man's got something to say.
I'm getting ready to chime in here.
Yeah,
and my takeaway from this is that you can't fix baseball, and it should die.
Ooh. Ooh.
You fucking hear me.
Hot
It is a
take.
boring ass sport, and it should have been dead years ago.
If cricket's gonna stay alive, baseball's gonna stay alive.
No, you know why? Because boomers are gonna die out, and we'll all stop fucking watching this stupid game.
True or false? True or false? Baseball does the best job by far with their All-Star festivities.
Ooh,
It's the best.
that's true.
I'll
That's true.
I'll say true
For
because
sure.
the All-Star
And they
game
even
means something.
And they pander to the home crowd a little bit more than any other sport too.
And by the way, I think I want to go on record. I don't think that of the major American sports, baseball is the one closest to death. I think it is the one most deserving of death.
Slam ball. But slam ball is obviously next to go.
Slam ball.
But I think the NFL is facing a crisis. What with
Everybody's
people
favorite
like Luke
Spike TV
Kuechly
network.
retiring.
Yeah.
I think the football is facing a crisis that baseball's not.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the entertainment value of go the core four, hockey, basketball, and football is much greater than that of baseball.
Well, what's going to happen is eventually baseball will become Blernsball as predicted in the documentary Futurama.
Or it'll just become basketball, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone will corner another part of the market.
And an old guy will die choking on a hot dog as the world turns.
I think there are a number of industries in this country being propped up solely by old white men.
Yeah.
And baseball is one of them. It's boring. It's not fun to watch.
Way too many games.
Unless you are super into the nuances of it.
You know
and
another industry?
grew up
Those
on it.
chairs that like lift you up the stairs. You know that you sit in?
Yeah, because we're going to be dead by the time we need those.
Yeah, I don't need those. I'm going to have robot legs.
Wait, that's what
Elon Musk is going to be a cyborg, and then he's going to give us
men.
all
I'm gonna be-
cyborg legs.
I'm gonna be sipping moon juice with President Jonathan Taylor Thomas by that time. Shout out to John Mulaney. I did not come up with that, but that's given us a lot of things to talk about. Hope that's given you all a lot of things to think about. Let us know what you think.
As long as one of those things you're thinking about isn't baseball.
Yeah, let us know what you
put it out of your
Think
mind.
about, think about Jose Altuve shirtless and make his wife jealous.
Poppy, throw it on the crap. What does he say in the Dan Le Batard show? He's like, throw it on the whatever. Anyways, we're getting off of that.
Do the thing.
You hate the Dan Le Batard
I
show?
just don't think it's funny.
Let us know what you think. Should baseball die? Should baseball live on? Screw Hamilton, or you agree with Hamilton? Let us know what you think. Tweet us.
If you've listened to the show before, I don't feel nearly as strongly about the death of this sport as I do about like horse racing.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Conor McGregor won. We didn't talk about any of that, but he knocked out a cowboy real quick. And
we're gonna give
sent him
this the
next
40.
week.
We're gonna give that the 40 seconds it deserves.
The Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo, and Herb Dean's waved it off.
But thank you all so much for listening. This has been a fun bring back into our swing of things of this podcast. We're gonna be coming back at you.
That's
with,
the name of this episode.
Bring
please.
back
That whole thing that you just said. That's the whole
I thought
name
it was
of
gonna
this
be like the
episode.
swing of things.
the swing of things. Like I said, we'll probably be coming back. Not probably. We're gonna be coming back for the Super Bowl with our first ever live viewing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You can send us bits for live bets, and we will take your live bets, and we will wager. You can tell us what to wager. You can have us wager second drinks of beers. You can, like, seconds of drinks of beers, like 4 seconds, 5 second, 10
You
second.
can make your
challenge.
live bets about our
could.
live bits.
Yeah. Send us bits. Oh God. We can wager shots on things, and just we wanted to make it a fun little interactive thing because sometimes the commentators grow stale, and we can cuss
If they're named Joe Buck.
Yes. But we're just a couple of dudes that like to talk sports. We like to talk sports, and we don't care who knows, from the 40-second fights to the Super Bowls, which is actually the line from that song.
Normally you finish it with something else.
But it's topical, so I'm going with it. We don't claim to be professionals. We don't claim to always know what we're talking about, nor do we feel that we are right. We're biased. We're dumb. We're silly. We're fun. But is there something you want to...
We don't do research.
Oh, sorry. We don't do research. We just say what's on our hearts, and we feel what's on our minds. Sometimes that gets us into binds. We're going to the floor. We're going to see more. And later on, we'll be calling you back at 4. So listen with your heart and tell us how you
God, I have
feel.
to poop.
Because we're almost done with this reel.
Won't you be my neighbor?
From Zach J. Ham, I will say less, because at least at the end of the day, we're not Skip Bayless.
Okay, I gotta poop.
Did the NBA season start?
We'll talk basketball the next time.